Hello, my friend. Welcome to this lesson. Today, I want to share with you a very simple but powerful story. I decided to practice English every day for 30 days, and I want to tell you exactly what happened to my speaking. This lesson is not only my story, it is also a guide for you, because if you want to learn English, if you want to speak English confidently, if you want English fluency in your real life, you can follow the same steps. And the best part is, you can start today. First, let me tell you why I chose 30 days. Many learners think fluency takes many years. And yes, learning English is a journey. But 30 days is long enough to feel a real change. In 30 days, your brain starts to build a new habit. In 30 days, you can feel more confident. And in 30 days, you can surprise yourself. So I made a promise. Every day, no matter what, I will practice English. Not just study grammar, not just read, but actually speak. Now, I know you may feel shy when you try to speak. Maybe you worry about mistakes. Maybe your hands shake, or your voice feels weak. I understand that. I felt the same way when I first started. But I told myself, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay if my English is not perfect. What is important is practice. So I began. On day 1, I spoke to myself in English, just simple sentences. I am drinking water. I am sitting at my desk. I am learning English. It felt strange, but it was a start. Maybe you are thinking, talking to myself? Is that real practice? Yes, it is. Because speaking English is about training your mouth, your tongue, your brain. When you move your mouth and say the words, you are training your fluency. At first, you don't need another person. You just need to hear your own voice. So here is my first challenge for you. After this video, speak out loud for 2 minutes about your day. It doesn't matter if you are alone. Just say, today I woke up, I ate breakfast, I watched a video, I am learning English now. 2 minutes. That is the first step. On day 2, I did the same thing, but I tried to add more detail. Instead of just, I ate breakfast, I said, I ate bread and eggs for breakfast. I drank tea. The bread was warm. The tea was hot. More detail means more practice. So every day I pushed myself a little more. My English was not perfect, but my confidence started to grow. By the end of the first week, I noticed something interesting. When I watched English videos or listened to people, I understood more. Not because my listening improved overnight, but because my brain was already in English mode. You see, when you practice every day, you start to think in English naturally. You don't need to translate every word. You hear English and you understand faster. This is how you improve English fast, not by only studying, but by speaking and listening together. One day, I even tried a little dialogue with myself. I asked a question and then I answered it. For example, what is your favorite food? My favorite food is rice and chicken. Why do you like it? Because it is tasty and easy to cook. A simple conversation, but very powerful. This is another challenge for you. Ask yourself 3 questions and answer them in English. It feels funny, but it will train your brain to have conversations. And when you meet a real person, your brain will already know how to respond. Now, Let's be honest. It was not easy every single day. Some days I was tired. Some days I did not feel motivated. But I remembered my goal, 30 days of practice. And when you make a small promise to yourself and you keep it, you feel strong. That strength helps you continue. I also reminded myself that learning English is not about being perfect. It is about being brave. Every word you say is a step forward. So, after the first week, I already felt some change. My sentences were a little longer, my voice was a little stronger, and most importantly, I was less afraid. I realized that English fluency is not magic. It is practice. Real, daily, simple practice. But that was just the beginning. Something surprising happened in the second week. My brain started to respond faster, and I noticed new habits forming. In the next part, I will tell you exactly what happened in week 2, and why this was the moment when my speaking really began to change. Part 2. So, my friend, let's continue the story. After the first week of practicing English every day, something started to change. At the beginning, my sentences were short. My ideas were simple. But in the second week, my brain began to open up. I noticed that when I wanted to say something, the words came faster. Not perfect, but faster. This was a big moment, because many learners feel stuck. They know the words, but when it's time to speak, nothing comes out. Daily practice is what breaks that wall. On day 8, I tried something new. Instead of only talking about my day, I described a picture. I opened my phone, found a photo, and then explained it in English. For example, I saw a picture of a park. I said, "This is a park. There are many trees. A boy is running. A woman is sitting on a bench. The sky is blue." At first, I used very simple sentences. But after a few minutes, I added more. The boy looks happy. Maybe he is playing with his friends. The woman is reading a book. She is wearing a red dress. This small exercise gave me more vocabulary and made me think faster. And the best part? I was practicing real, natural English. This is my next challenge for you. Find a picture right now. It can be on your phone, your wall, or even outside your window. Look at it for 1 minute. Then describe everything you see in English. Don't worry about mistakes. Just speak. Say what comes to your mind. Do this for 3 minutes every day. I promise, in 1 week, you will see a big difference in how you speak English confidently. By day 10, I realized I was starting to think in English without trying. For example, when I saw food, the word rice or bread came to my head in English, not in my own language. This is a powerful sign. When your brain switches automatically, you are moving closer to English fluency. It doesn't happen in 1 day, but with practice, it comes naturally. And that's why 30 days of practice is so important. Your brain needs that repetition. On day 12, I felt a little bored. Saying the same sentences every day started to feel too easy. But this was a good problem. It meant my English was growing. So I tried something harder. I made a mini story. I said, "Yesterday I went to the shop." I saw a man with a big bag. He dropped the bag, and apples fell on the ground. I helped him pick up the apples. Was the story true? Number. I just imagined it. But telling stories trained my brain to connect sentences. This is how you go from single words to fluent speaking. And it is fun, too. Now, let me give you a small dialogue example that you can try. Imagine you are at a cafe. Say it with me. Good morning. Can I have a coffee, please? Yes, of course. Do you want milk and sugar? Yes, a little milk, no sugar. Here you are. Thank you very much. Simple, right? But if you repeat this little dialogue a few times, you will feel more confident. Next time you visit a cafe in real life, you will be ready. This is how you improve English fast, by practicing real-life situations, not just grammar rules. Something else happened in the second week. I started to feel proud. At the beginning, I was shy. I thought my English was too basic. But after 12 days, I felt progress. Even small progress feels amazing. When you feel it, you want to keep going. And when you keep going, you get better and better. That's the secret of fluency. Small, daily wins. On day 14, I looked back and thought, wow, 2 weeks of practice already. I didn't stop. I didn't quit. That feeling gave me even more motivation, and my speaking was definitely better. I could describe pictures. I could tell short stories. I could make small dialogues. My confidence was growing, and when confidence grows, fear goes away. But let me be honest again. Even in week 2, I still made many mistakes. Sometimes I used the wrong tense. Sometimes I forgot words. Sometimes I repeated myself. But I didn't care. Why? Because mistakes are part of learning. If you wait for perfect English, you will never speak. If you accept mistakes, you will improve faster. Remember this. Fluency is not about speaking perfectly. Fluency is about speaking bravely. By the end of the second week, I felt something powerful inside me. I knew that 30 days was not just a challenge. It was becoming a new habit, a part of my life. And when English becomes part of your life, you don't just learn it, you live it. But my biggest breakthrough was waiting in week 3. This was the week when I stopped practicing only with myself and started to use English with other people. That step changed everything. Part 3. So, my friend, let's move to week 3 of my 30-day challenge. This was the week when everything became real, because I finally started using English with other people. Until now, I had been practicing alone, talking to myself, describing pictures, creating stories. That was powerful, yes. But in week 3, I realized that real growth happens when you connect with others. Speaking alone builds confidence, but speaking with another person tests your skills in real time. On day 15, I made a brave decision. I joined an online language exchange. It was a simple video call with another learner. I was nervous, of course. My heart was beating fast. I thought, what if I don't understand? What if I cannot answer? But then I remembered my promise. I told myself, I am not here to be perfect. I am here to practice. And so I clicked the button and joined the call. Guess what? It was not scary at all. The other learner was friendly. We both made mistakes and we both laughed. That call lasted 15 minutes, but it felt like a huge victory. For the first time, I used English with a real person during my challenge. The next day, I repeated the same thing, but this time, I prepared a few questions before the call. I wrote them down on paper. Where are you from? What do you like to eat? What do you do on weekends? Simple questions, but very useful. And because I prepared, I felt calmer. The conversation was smoother. I realized something important. When you prepare questions in advance, you give yourself a safety net. You don't freeze. You always have something to say. That was a big lesson for me, and it can be a big lesson for you too. Here is my challenge for you. Write down 5 simple questions in English. Any questions. For example, what is your favorite color? What is your favorite movie? Do you like coffee or tea? Then practice asking and answering them. You can do it with yourself or with a friend. If you cannot find a partner, record yourself asking the questions and then answer them. This exercise will prepare you for real conversations. By day 17, I noticed something new. My listening was improving. At first, I only understood some words when people spoke, but after 2 weeks of daily practice, my brain was faster. I did not need to translate every word. I started to catch the meaning from the context. This is the power of daily speaking. It doesn't only help your mouth, it also helps your ears. When you hear English every day, your brain adapts. On day 18, I practiced a role play with a friend. We pretended to be at a restaurant. I said, "Hello, I would like to see the menu, please." My friend answered, "Of course." "Here is the menu," I asked. "What do you recommend?" He said, "The chicken is very popular." I replied, "Okay, I will take the chicken with rice." We laughed because it was just practice, but it felt so real. And this is exactly what you can do at home. Choose a situation, restaurant, shop, airport, and practice the dialogue. Even if you are alone, you can play both roles. It feels a little silly, but it works. Day 20 was a big turning point. That day, I joined a group conversation online. There were 4 people, all learners like me. At first, I was very quiet. I listened more than I spoke. But after a few minutes, I joined in. I said, "Yes, I agree," or "That is interesting," or "In my city, it is different." Just small sentences, but they gave me courage. The more I spoke, the easier it became. And I learned something very important. You don't need to speak a lot to join a conversation. Even short, simple sentences make you part of the group. And every time you open your mouth, you practice fluency. Now, I want to share a small secret with you. In week 3, I still made many mistakes. Sometimes I said he instead of she. Sometimes I used the wrong verb tense. But guess what? Nobody cared. People understood me anyway, and that gave me so much freedom. I realized communication is more important than perfection. And when you focus on communication, your English fluency grows naturally. By the end of week 3, I felt different. I was no longer the shy learner from day 1. I was becoming a speaker. My sentences were longer. My listening was stronger. My confidence was bigger. I knew I was on the right path. But something even more exciting was waiting in week 4. This was the week when English started to feel natural, like a part of me, not just something I studied. Part 4. So now, my friend, let's move to week 4. This was the week when something very special happened. Up to this point, I was practicing English with myself and with other learners. I was speaking more, listening more, and slowly feeling more confident. But in week 4, I noticed a huge change. English started to feel natural. It was no longer something outside of me. It became part of my daily life, almost like brushing my teeth or eating breakfast. It felt normal. On day 22, I had a funny experience. I woke up, and without thinking, I said to myself, "Good morning." Not in my native language. In English. I didn't plan it. I didn't force it. It just came out. That was the moment I realized my brain was finally switching to English automatically. And let me tell you, this is one of the best feelings you can ever have. When English comes out without translation, you know fluency is growing inside you. That day, I decided to push myself even more. I spent the whole morning trying to think only in English. I looked at my clothes and thought, this shirt is blue. These pants are black. I ate my breakfast and thought, the bread is soft. The tea is hot. Every small thought, I said it in English in my head. At first it was a little slow, but after an hour it started to flow. My mind was working in English, and that exercise gave me so much confidence. So here's a challenge for you. Choose 1 hour in your day and think only in English. Describe what you see, what you feel, what you do. Even if you don't know the perfect word, use simple ones. This is one of the fastest ways to improve English fluency. By day 24, I wanted to test myself. So I recorded my voice while speaking about a topic for 2 minutes. I chose my favorite hobby. I spoke, then I listened. At first, I felt shy to hear my own voice. Maybe you feel the same when you record yourself, but it is a powerful tool. When I listened, I noticed some mistakes. For example, I said, "He play football" instead of "he plays football." But I also noticed something good. My sentences were longer and more natural than before. I was proud. And that pride gave me energy to keep going. On day 25, I did another recording. But this time, I made it harder. I spoke for 5 minutes. I talked about my last holiday. I said, "Last year, I went to the mountains. The weather was cold, but very beautiful. I walked on small roads. I saw animals. I ate warm food in a small restaurant. It was not perfect, but it was real." When I listened back, I could hear my progress. My voice was stronger. My rhythm was smoother. This exercise showed me how far I had come in just a few weeks. Day 26 was special because I decided to mix fun with learning. I watched a short movie clip in English, only 2 minutes long. After watching, I paused and tried to describe what happened in my own words. For example, the man opened the door. He looked surprised. A woman entered. They started to laugh. It was like telling a story from the movie. This kind of exercise is amazing for speaking because you don't just repeat, you create. You use English to explain, and that makes you more confident. By day 27, English was part of my daily routine. I was not forcing myself anymore. I wanted to practice. I enjoyed it. Every time I spoke, I felt more natural. Every time I listened, I understood more. And this is the truth. When you practice every day, English stops being a school subject. It becomes part of who you are. That's when fluency really starts to grow. Now, let me be honest again. Even in week 4, I was not perfect. Sometimes I forgot words. Sometimes I stopped in the middle of a sentence. Sometimes I said, or too much. But that is okay, because native speakers also do that. Fluency is not about speaking like a robot. It is about speaking like a human. And I was learning to do exactly that. By day 29, I felt something I had never felt before. I felt free. Free to use English anytime, anywhere. Free to make mistakes. Free to communicate. My fear was gone, and my confidence was strong. On day 30, I looked back at my journey, and I could not believe the difference. 30 days earlier, I was shy, nervous, and stuck. Now I was speaking with energy, with confidence, and with joy. But the story does not end here, because after the 30 days, I realized something even bigger. Fluency is not just a challenge. Fluency is a lifestyle. And that, my friend, is what I will share with you in the next part. Part 5. So, my friend, the 30-day challenge was finished. But the story was not finished at all. Because on day 31, I woke up and asked myself, what now? Do I stop? Do I go back to my old habits? The answer was clear, no. I realized that practicing English every day was not just a challenge anymore. It had become part of my life. Fluency was no longer a dream far away. It was something I was living. And the lesson was simple. If you want to speak English confidently, you don't stop after 30 days. You keep going. Because fluency is not an exam. Fluency is a lifestyle. After my 30-day challenge, I started to notice something powerful. English was no longer study time. English was everywhere in my life. When I walked outside, I described things in English in my head. When I watched a short video, I repeated some of the sentences. When I cooked, I named the ingredients in English. Tomato, onion, rice, salt. These little habits may seem small, but they build your fluency step by step. This is the secret that many learners don't understand. You don't need big lessons all the time. You need small, daily English moments that keep your brain active. One day, around day 33, I went to the shop. Normally, I would speak in my native language. But suddenly, I thought in English, how much is this? Can I pay with cash? Of course, I didn't say it in English to the shopkeeper, but the thought was in English. That was another sign that English had become natural in my mind. Thinking in English is one of the most powerful habits you can build if you want to improve English fast. By day 35, I wanted to test myself again. I decided to speak in English for 10 minutes without stopping. I chose the topic, my dream city. At first, I thought it would be difficult, but as I spoke, the words kept coming. I talked about houses, streets, food, people, shops, the weather. Sometimes I used simple words like big or nice when I didn't know advanced ones. But that was okay, because the goal was fluency, not perfection. After 10 minutes, I felt tired, but proud. I had spoken English freely, without a script. That moment showed me how much I had grown. Here's a challenge for you. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Choose a topic: your family, your school, your job, your favorite food. Then speak without stopping until the timer ends. Don't worry about mistakes. Don't stop to translate. Just keep going. If you don't know a word, explain it another way. This is how you train your fluency muscle. The first time, it may feel hard, but if you do it again and again, your speaking will improve very fast. Around day 37, I joined another group conversation online. But this time, I was different. I didn't just say yes or I agree. I gave longer answers. Someone asked, "What do you like to do in your free time?" Before, I might answer, "I like reading." But now, I said, "I like reading because it helps me relax, and sometimes I learn new ideas from books." A longer, more natural answer. And people reacted. They smiled, they listened, they asked more questions. I realized the more I speak, the more people connect with me. And connection is the true goal of language. By day 39, I didn't even need motivation anymore. I wanted to practice. English felt enjoyable, not like homework. I watched a short video, repeated sentences, then tried to use those sentences in my own way. For example, I heard, "It's a beautiful day outside." I repeated it. Then I changed it. "It's a busy day outside." "It's a noisy day outside." This simple technique made my vocabulary bigger and my fluency stronger. And the best part? It was fun. On day 40, I looked back and thought, wow. Just 10 extra days and already I feel more fluent than before. The truth is, fluency does not come in one big moment. It comes in small daily steps. Every day you speak, every day you listen, every day you think in English, you are building a stronger foundation. And that foundation gives you confidence. But then I asked myself another question. How can I keep this lifestyle forever? How can I continue improving English fast, not just for 30 or 40 days, but for the rest of my life? And that, my friend, is what I will share with you in the next part. Part 6. So, my friend, let's continue. After 40 days of daily practice, I understood something very clear. English fluency is not a short challenge, it is a long journey. If I stop, my progress will stop. But if I continue, my English will keep growing stronger and stronger. So the question became, how do I keep this lifestyle forever without feeling bored, tired, or stressed? The answer was simple: variety. You see, if you do the same thing every day, you will get bored. Your brain will say, "Oh no, not again." But if you mix different activities, you will feel fresh. That's exactly what I started to do. Some days I practiced speaking to myself. Some days I joined online conversations. Some days I watched videos. and repeated sentences. Other days, I described pictures or created stories. Every day was a little different, and because of that, I never lost motivation. On day 42, I tried something new. I practiced shadowing. Shadowing means you listen to a native speaker and speak at the same time, like an echo. For example, I watched a short English video. The person said, "I'm going to the park." At the same time, I said, "I'm going to the park." Word by word, sentence by sentence. It was not easy at first, but it was amazing training. My mouth started to copy the rhythm, the speed, the intonation, and when I spoke later, I sounded more natural. So here's a challenge for you. Choose a 1-minute video in English and shadow it. Don't worry if you cannot catch every word. Just try. Even 30 seconds will help your fluency. Day 44 was another experiment. I tried thinking in English while walking outside. I looked at the street and said in my head, "The man is walking fast. The bus is coming. The shop is open. The woman is talking on the phone." Everything I saw, I described. After 15 minutes, my brain was fully in English mode. And the best part? I was practicing without any extra time. I didn't need a desk or a book, just my mind. This is the magic of thinking in English. You can do it anywhere. By day 45, I wanted to test my storytelling again. I made up a story about a lost dog. I said, "There was a small dog. One day, he got lost in the city. He looked for his home. He was hungry and tired. Then, a kind boy found him and gave him food. Finally, the boy helped him go home." Simple story, but it made me use past tense, adjectives, and emotions, and it felt good. Storytelling is one of the most powerful exercises you can do to improve English fast, because it forces you to connect ideas. Day 46, I joined a conversation with someone more advanced than me. At first, I was scared. I thought, he speaks so fast I cannot keep up. But then I remembered, my goal is not perfection, my goal is practice. So I listened, I smiled, and I answered with simple sentences. And you know what? He understood me. We laughed. We shared ideas, and I learned so much from him. That day taught me, don't be afraid to speak with people who are better than you. They will push you to grow. By day 48, I noticed another change. I was starting to use new vocabulary naturally. Before, I learned words and forgot them quickly. But now, because I was speaking every day, the words stayed in my memory. For example, I learned the word delicious. I used it when I talked about food. The chicken was delicious. Then I used it again. The cake is delicious. The more I used it, the more natural it became. This is how you truly learn vocabulary, not by memorizing lists, but by using words in real sentences. On day 49, I felt very proud. Almost 50 days of daily practice, and my English fluency was stronger than ever. But I also knew the journey was just beginning. Fluency is like exercise. If you stop, your muscles get weak. If you continue, they get stronger. The same with English. Daily practice is the key. And on day 50, I had a clear vision. I will not stop. I will keep practicing every day, maybe not for 1 hour, but at least for a few minutes. Because even 5 minutes of speaking is better than zero. Even small steps keep you moving forward. But there is still one more important lesson I learned: the mindset of a confident speaker. In the next part, I will share with you how my attitude changed and how you can build the same confidence to speak English anywhere, anytime. Part 7. So now, my friend, let's talk about something even more powerful than grammar, vocabulary, or practice. In week 7 of my journey, I discovered that fluency is not only about the words you say. It is also about your attitude, your mindset. How you feel inside makes a huge difference in how you speak outside. If you feel afraid, your words will be small. If you feel confident, your words will flow. And in this part, I want to share with you how my mindset changed and how you can build the same confidence to speak English anywhere, anytime. By day 51, I noticed something funny. When I spoke English, my body also changed. At first, I was shy. My shoulders were small, my eyes looked down, my voice was quiet. But after weeks of daily practice, my body was different. My shoulders were open, my eyes looked forward, my voice was stronger. Why? Because practice builds confidence, not only in your mind, but also in your body. When your body feels strong, your English feels strong. That was the first big lesson. Confidence is physical. Here's a little challenge for you. Next time you speak English, sit or stand tall. Take a deep breath, smile, look forward, not down. Then speak. You will be surprised. Just by changing your body, your English will sound more confident. Try it and see the difference. By day 53, I had another important discovery. I realized that most people don't care about your mistakes. They only care about your message. For example, I said once, "He go to school yesterday." Of course, it's not perfect grammar, but the person understood me. He smiled and answered. The conversation continued. That moment was a big relief. I thought, wow, I don't need perfect grammar to communicate. I only need courage, and that thought gave me so much freedom. If you want to speak English confidently, remember this: mistakes are not your enemy. Silence is your enemy. If you speak, you are already winning. Every mistake is proof that you are learning. On day 55, I practiced in front of a mirror. This may sound strange, but it really helps. I stood in front of the mirror and spoke as if I was talking to another person. I asked questions, I answered, I smiled, I used my hands. It felt real. And when I looked at my face, I saw confidence growing. This simple exercise can change your speaking. So I challenge you. Practice in front of a mirror for 3 minutes today. Watch yourself. Smile. Speak clearly. You will feel stronger, I promise. By day 56, I started to enjoy my mistakes. Yes, enjoy them. Every time I made a mistake, I laughed and said, "Great." That means I am learning. And because I laughed, I felt relaxed. And when you are relaxed, your English flows better. Stress blocks fluency. Relaxation opens it. That's why children learn so fast. They don't care about mistakes. They just play with language. You can do the same. On day 58, I joined another online conversation, but this time something amazing happened. Normally, I was the learner, always listening, always answering simple questions, but that day, I asked more questions. I became the leader of the conversation. I said, "What do you think about traveling? Can you tell me about your family? Do you like music?" And people answered me. Suddenly, I was not just a learner, I was a communicator. That change in my mindset made me feel like a real English speaker. Here's a challenge for you. Next time you talk to someone in English, don't only answer questions. Ask questions too. Become the leader sometimes. You don't need big, complicated questions. Simple ones are enough. But when you ask, you show confidence. And confidence brings fluency. By day 60, I realized that my attitude had completely changed. At the beginning, I was shy, nervous, and afraid of mistakes. Now I was strong, relaxed, and proud of every word I spoke. That is the biggest victory of all, because once you have confidence, fluency will grow naturally. But my journey didn't stop there. After 60 days of practice, I had one final realization, the biggest secret about speaking English fluently. And that, my friend, is what I will share with you in the last part. Part 8. So, my friend, we finally arrive at the last part of this journey. I practiced English every day for 30 days, but in truth, the journey continued far beyond that. After 60 days, after 70 days, I understood the biggest secret about fluency. And I want to share it with you now. The secret is this: fluency is not a destination. Fluency is a process. You don't wake up one morning and say, "Yes, now I am fluent, and I will never struggle again." No. Fluency is something you build every day, with every word, with every conversation. Some days are easy, some days are difficult, but as long as you keep speaking, you are winning. By day 61, I stopped counting. I didn't say, "Today is day 61, day 62. I didn't need to, because English was already part of my daily life. I was no longer chasing fluency like a finish line. I was living fluency like a lifestyle. That is the true secret. If you make English part of who you are, you will never lose it. On day 65, I spoke with a new friend online. He said, "Your English is good." And I laughed, because I didn't feel good or bad. I just felt natural. I didn't compare myself to others. I didn't think about perfect grammar. I just communicated. And that, my friend, is what fluency really means. Being able to communicate confidently, even if you make mistakes. Here's a simple truth. People don't remember your mistakes. They remember your message. If you say, "Yesterday I go to the park," nobody will stop you. They will smile and understand. You went to the park. The message is clear. That's what matters. So stop worrying about mistakes. Start focusing on connection. By day 70, I had built many small habits that made me stronger every day. I thought in English when I walked. I spoke to myself in English when I cooked. I joined short conversations online. I watched videos and repeated sentences. I told stories. I asked questions. I recorded my voice. None of these things were big. But together, they made a big difference. That is how you improve English fast, not with one giant step, but with many small daily steps. Now, let me give you some final challenges to continue your own journey. First, every day, speak for at least 2 minutes. It can be about your day, your plans, or a picture. 2 minutes is enough to train your fluency muscle. Second, ask yourself questions in English. Simple ones like, what will I eat today? What do I want to do tomorrow? Answer them out loud. Third, practice thinking in English during small moments. When you are on the bus, when you are cooking, when you are walking. Even 1 minute of thinking in English will help. And finally, be brave. Fluency grows when you are not afraid to open your mouth. Even if your voice shakes, even if your hands feel nervous, speak anyway. The more you speak, the easier it becomes. Confidence comes after action, not before. So, after all these days of practice, what happened to my speaking? I became faster, stronger, more natural. I stopped translating in my head. I stopped worrying about mistakes. I started enjoying English. I started living English. That is the real transformation. And now I want the same for you. Imagine yourself 30 days from now. Imagine speaking English with more confidence. Imagine joining a conversation without fear. Imagine thinking in English naturally. All of this is possible for you. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need thousands of words. You only need one thing: daily practice. So, my friend, don't wait. Start today. Speak for 2 minutes. Ask questions. Tell a story. Think in English. And tomorrow, do it again. And again. And again. 30 days from now, you will look back and say, wow, I can really speak English more confidently. I am on my way to fluency. Remember, learning English is not about being perfect. It is about being brave. You can improve English fast if you practice every day. You can speak English confidently if you keep going. And you can achieve English fluency if you make it part of your life. Thank you for joining me on this journey.